So, if you couldn't tell, this show's got me way too fucked up way too early, you know? Because I was not expecting Wrecker's chip to just totally activate in the next episode. Sure, we saw it partially activate in the last one, but I thought they were going to make us wait for it. I thought they were going to make us, you know, keep watching him smack his head on shit and then just wonder, hey, is it going to activate now? Is it not? No, they just, I don't know. I don't know if I'm happy that they didn't make us wait or not. I was expecting for them to make us wait, so, you know, when it happened in this episode, I was like, okay, yeah, so now we don't have to wait to see when he's gonna just start trying to kill everyone, so. And, of course, y'all already know what I'm gonna say. It's been 4 episodes. Where is Crosshair? We have not seen him, and at this point, we're 7 episodes in. 4 out of those 7 episodes, we have not seen him. He's in less than half of the episodes that have been released so far. So, you know, that's making me a little worried because I think something big is going to end up happening and they just keep ignoring him. So I feel like, you know, are they going to kill him? Because if they're not going to kill the entirety of the Bad Batch, I think Crosshair is probably going to be either the one that dies or sacrifices himself in some capacity. Crosshair's part of the Bad Batch, you know, you can't take that away from us, you know, we know it. So the fact that they're just ignoring one of the members of the Bad Batch, it's just like, do they just not like him? Does the show not like him? I don't know. That's the vibe I'm getting, because I feel like, yeah, they just don't want to show him for some reason, which, I don't know why. I don't know if we're going to find out sooner or later, but, like, I'd like to find out in the next episode or two what the hell he's doing, because I want to know. I'm worried about him, but, like, whew. But before I continue to rant, you cannot talk with this in your mouth. What is up, my dudes, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, what's up? I am One Creative Ginger, and in this house we have salty takes and emotional rants over fictional media, all while wearing the most amazing makeup you have ever seen in your entire life, and that is a fact. So, does that sound like fun? Well, how about helping a bitch out by clicking that subscribe button, and if you find at least one of your brain cells enjoying at least a millisecond of this video, why not hit the like button too? So, looks like Sid and the Bad Batch, specifically Hunter, you know, aren't getting along too well. Because turns out, for some unknown reason, I don't know why, okay, but like, Tech didn't make a backup for the droid info that they recovered, so they just ended up returning empty-handed, because, yeah, I don't know, I thought he would have been a little bit smarter and made, you know, a backup to the backup and not just give away this information. They're now really in debt to Sid, and so now they have to, you know, get this big score in order to be even with her. So there's that whole thing, but we're gonna ignore that for now, because guess who shows up? Rex, of all people. Turns out that this guy in the hologram was actually Rex. You know, the guy that Trace and Rafa had contacted was actually Rex. I mean, I thought he was gonna show up a little later. I thought that was a little like, oh wow, that happened. I liked that he was in this episode because, yeah, I've been waiting for him to show up. I wanted him to show up, so I'm glad he did. So yes, but you know, as they're talking, you know, Wrecker's head starts to hurt again, and apparently they've just been putting medical patches on his head and hoping that'll work, that's gonna help his headache in some way. And of course Rex is like, no, that's that's a little suspicious, right? And Tech's like, oh yeah, you know, it can't be the inhibitor chip. I mean, you know, it worked on Crosshair, but like, who knows why that worked on him, but we're fine. It hasn't, you know, affected us yet, even though Wrecker's been having headaches in the same exact spot that Crosshair's been having, you know, his headaches, you know, that kind of thing. And of course Rex is like, god damn it, guys, no, this we're not doing this. You were coming with me to go to Braca, I think. Yeah, he's like, we're going to Braca, we're getting these little bitches removed so we can stop wondering when they're all gonna turn on, right? So, you know, they agree to go meet Rex at Braca so then they can get the inhibitor chips removed. Something that's annoyed me, because Tech honestly has just kind of been so stupid, honestly, and I've been wondering why. And I don't know, maybe the inhibitor chip, because they do say with Crosshair, his inhibitor chip was a little fucked up, but for somehow it still worked because his eyes are his enhancement, and so his eyes are attached to his brain, and his brain probably was able to still have the Order 66 programming still working, just not working correctly, and that's why it was able to turn on, because his enhancement was able to, you know, not completely block it out like everyone else. And with tech, maybe the chip did technically work, it just didn't work properly, and it was just telling him, oh, the chips are fine, you're fine, you don't need to remove it, it's okay. And so he just thinks that that's okay because his brain's like, yeah, it's fine. But maybe that's the inhibitor chip telling him that. Maybe it's telling him, don't remove it, because don't, you know. I don't know. It just doesn't really make sense why he was just like, well, you know, because he literally says it worked on Crosshair, but it didn't work on any of us, even though Wrecker's got these weird headaches this whole time. I don't know, but like, we're fine. I don't know. It just, for that, the rest of the time where he's being dumb, it makes sense because his enhancement would have been way more specific to battle scenarios and memorizing those battle scenarios. With the inhibitor chip, I mean, that was a little too dumb for him. I mean, his whole enhancement would have caught that, but I don't know. I feel like the inhibitor chip influenced him thinking that it wasn't a big deal. Just because it worked on Crosshair doesn't mean it's gonna work on any of them. You know, I don't know. And another thing, this is more sad that annoyed me. Rex mentions Fives to Echo and he just has like no reaction whatsoever. So I'm like did Echo know what happened to Fives? Because with his very little reaction to that, I was just kind of like, okay, he must have known already, right? Like, I mean, Rex probably already told him, right? Like, that's not something you just don't tell one of your friends, that, hey, your friend kind of died because he was going on about this whole conspiracy that turned out to be true, right? You know, I think he would have told, I think Rex would have told Echo what happened to Fives, like, literally right after they saved him from the Techno Union. That's not something you just, like, don't tell him, you know? So, yeah, the fact that he just kind of didn't react to Fives' name was kind of weird. I just felt like they should have had more of a meaningful reunion, you know? Like, it was just so odd that they just were like, hey, what's up? Okay. Like, that was it. Like, sure, they had, like, a little, like, clink clink with their drinks. That was it. That was literally the only reaction we got from them. And I was just kind of like, damn. Okay, you couldn't take like 30 seconds for them to be like, hey, I missed you a lot, you know, we've been through some shit together, right? You know? Because it made sense that the rest of the Bad Batch is just like, hey, it's Rex, what's up? So the Bad Batch goes to meet Rex on Braca so they can find a wrecked Jedi cruiser so they can get the medbay rebooted so they can remove the inhibitor chip, because that's the only way Rex knows how to remove it, is because that's where his was removed. That's where Ahsoka was able to remove his chip. So that's all he knows. And this whole time they're trying to dodge the Scrapper Guild, which is running this planet, so they have to dodge them so, you know, they don't get caught and then have the guild call the Empire to fuck them up, you know? So they have to be sneaky about this. So they get to the cruiser and are finally able to, you know, get to the medbay, and Echo's able to boot it up. And while that's happening, Omega starts getting rather anxious and sad, and she tells Hunter that the procedure is dangerous, obviously. And she doesn't want to be left alone in case something goes wrong, you know, even though Rex is there. He's literally standing right behind her, and he's like, kind of like, I'm fine, you know, you're not going to be totally alone, but, you know, we get why she's saying that, you know, because she's very attached to the Bad Batch, and specifically Hunter as well, so she doesn't want to be left alone. She doesn't want to see them die, you know, that kind of thing. Which doesn't bode well, because you know damn well that line is going to come up. It's going to be like, oh, you know, we're not leaving you, you're with us for the long run, that kind of thing. No, that shit's going to come back, and it's going to hurt, because you know it's going to be because someone's dying. Who knows who it's gonna be, but like, Omega's gonna say that again, and I feel like Hunter's gonna say it again, but it's gonna be in a completely different context, so not looking forward to that if that comes back up. So, but if you think that's sad and depressing, guess what happens next? Wrecker's chip activates for real this time, and so he proceeds to choke Tech and then throw him into a wall rather aggressively, to the point where I was like, he's good, right? Like, Wrecker didn't just like kill his ass, right? Wrecker just ends up chasing everyone in this rather disturbing scene. Like, this was some freaky shit. Like, this like horror movie level shit. Like, it was spooky. Like, I was very worried because, you know, he ends up throwing Echo at Rex and then just takes them both out, so they're just out. And then he ends up choking Hunter, and Hunter does look terrified. Like, I was worried because with Tech, he was just kind of like, wait, what's going on? Like, he couldn't fully, like, Tech wasn't able to fully process that Wrecker was about to just fuck his shit up. He just could not comprehend that Wrecker was hurting him, essentially. Yeah, with Hunter, he was just kind of like worried at first, but then like the fear set in. Like, you could see it on his face, and I was like, ooh, bitch. Like, Hunter knew what was happening. He was able to process it, because at first you could see that he was just kind of like, wait, no, this this isn't happening. And then you see it, the switch in his face, and you're just like, yeah, he realizes what's going on now, and that's painful. But Hunter doesn't end up dying. He does, you know, pass out because Omega's able to distract Wrecker, and so Wrecker ends up chasing after her, and it's this whole scene. And legit thought that they were going to make Wrecker kill Omega for a second, because you know, it's Star Wars, you know, children don't die in Star Wars, right? But you know, no, Omega's fine. Everyone else is fine because Rex, you know, coming in clutch and stuns Wrecker, and then they're able to bring him back to the med bay, get the chip out, and that's the end of it. But, you know, there's this whole scene where they're like, oh shit, he's not waking up, you know, we're gonna have to wait. And so he does wake up, he's totally fine. And so they're able to remove everyone else's chips, so everyone else has their chips removed. Wrecker does have this little scene where he apologizes to Omega, and he's just so... oh, he's just so fucked up about it. He was just so sad that that was something that he did. Because he literally says in this episode, because a lot of people have been wondering, like, yeah, how the clones reacted. Did they just get reprogrammed so their personalities just, like, switched? Or are they, like, prisoners in their body, you know, that kind of thing, you know? And, yeah, it turns out they literally are prisoners in their body. They did not want to kill anyone. They did not want to kill any of the Jedi or any of the traitors or anyone else that, you know, the chip was like, you gotta murder that one, you know? So they're prisoners. They do not want to do the shit that they are forced to do. So, that's fun. Yeah, Wrecker's just like, I tried to fight it. I just couldn't. It wasn't possible. Whew, that's just a depressing thing to think about, that all the clones are just trying to fight it, but they can't. They're programmed to not be able to. So, but yeah, with Crosshair, for example, he was definitely trying to fight it. His actions in the first couple episodes where he's under the chip's control somewhat, he's just kind of like, you guys need to get your shit together before you get fucked, right? So he probably didn't know that it was the inhibitor chip that was making him act like that, because I think he was, you know, he's an asshole, but like, he was trying to keep everyone safe. He didn't want them to be taken away or to abandon him, that kind of thing, because I do think he does think that he was abandoned. So, yeah, so now that they have all the chips removed, we don't have to worry about that, thank God. So, you know, now Wrecker can smack his head on shit, and we don't have to worry about the inhibitor chip activating again. But yeah, Hunter goes to talk to Rex, who's outside, contacting a certain someone that he's going to rendezvous with, you know, rather soon. And so, wonder who that person is. Is it Ahsoka? I don't know. I really hope it is, because I miss her. I want to see her in this show so badly. She's amazing. But yeah, so Hunter ends up talking to Rex, and Rex is like, you gonna come join us, you know, like help stop the Empire, that kind of thing, you know. And of course Hunter's like, well, I think we're gonna still be mercenaries even though it's not going so well and we kind of owe a lot of money to this one bitch. And obviously she's got the money and, you know, friends in order to protect Omega from Fennec, who we haven't seen in a while. Like, we don't know what the hell's going on with the bounty, because I think them staying with Sid has, like, deterred Fennec and whoever else is after the bounty. So I think that's why they're staying, even though it obviously isn't going too hot, you know? But yeah, so that's what Hunter says. He thinks that staying with Sid is the best option for them than going with Rex. And so Rex like, okay, well, if you need my help, you know where to call, you know, you should call me up, that kind of thing. And then Hunter's like, yeah, well, if you need our help, you can call us, that kind of thing. So I was like, oh, that was still cute that they were like, we'll help each other out though, even though, you know, we're going separate ways, because, you know, at the end of their conversation, Rex just, you know, disappears into the foggy mist, which honestly is how I thought he was going to reveal himself at first. I thought that's what was going to happen, or, you know, he was going to emerge from the shadows, you know, or in this case, you emerge from a foggy mist. But that doesn't happen. That's how he takes his leave for who knows how long, because it's definitely implied he's going to show up again, just we don't know when. But it was nice to see him at least once, and for him to get those goddamn inhibitor chips out, because you know damn well Tech wasn't gonna do it, because his dumbass just didn't think that was an issue. Yeah, but Rex leaves, but that's not where the episode ends, because there's a little tiny tidbit more, okay? So, turns out Hunter ends up getting spotted while he's watching Rex, you know, disappear off into the fog, you know. He gets spotted by some of the Scrapper Guild members who are like, well, let's contact the Empire, because those are some clones. Those are some rogue clones, and they're up to something. They should not be here. They've been sneaking around. That's probably not good, so let's call the Empire. And that's where it ends. So, I don't know if this is going to happen. I kind of doubt it is, since they just don't want to show Crosshair at all. But I think, in the next episode, I feel like there's not going to be like this huge time skip. I think it's just going to be like, okay, they called the Empire. The Empire's here now. Everyone hasn't, the whole Bad Batch hasn't left yet, because they're, you know, still recovering and trying to, you know, figure out what to do next, you know, because they're trying to figure out, like, what's their next big score gonna be, so they can fix their debt with Sid, right? So there's that. So there could be like no time skip, and the Empire's on their ass immediately, and they send Crosshair and his team to go after them, to either eliminate them or to bring them into the Empire, so, you know, they can be reprogrammed. I'd like to think that Crosshair shows up and that's who the Empire sends to go after them, because I doubt that they're going to be in any hurry to leave after everything that just happened in this episode. So obviously they're gonna think like, oh yeah, it's fine, we didn't get caught by the Scrapper Guild, they don't know anything that's going on, right? But yeah, and then they could hear like someone coming, and then, you know, it could be Crosshair, and then they're just like, ah, shit. Well, we're here, so, you know, maybe we can knock his ass out and get the inhibitor chip out of his dumb ass, you know? I'd like that to happen. I really doubt that they're gonna remove his chip this early, even though it's halfway through the show, but it's like, still, I doubt they're gonna be able to remove it this early. I think they have something planned for Crosshair that none of us are gonna like. Yeah, I don't know. I'd like to think that they remove his chip in the next episode, if that's who the Empire sends after them, because obviously that makes sense to send an enhanced clone after enhanced clones, you know? That kind of makes sense. He knows how they work, he knows how they fight, and, you know, they're missing Crosshair, and they specifically do not fight as well without him, so I think it would be smart for the Empire to send him, so, you know, and then they're less likely to want to hurt him, because they're like, you're not in your right mind, we need to get that inhibitor chip out of you, and of course he's just not gonna give a fuck, because the inhibitor chip makes him think that, so it's like, it'd be a recipe for some good old-fashioned angst, you know? But, like, yeah, I'd like to see them interact, hopefully in the next episode. I highly doubt that they would be able to remove Crosshair's chip in that episode, because I think they got something else planned for him. I don't think that that's going to happen. I would like it to happen, but honestly, I doubt that that would happen halfway through. But then again, I'm really surprised that they actually did remove the inhibitor chips this early in the show. I thought it was going to take a lot longer. I thought we were going to have Wreckers succumb to it and end up meeting up with Crosshair at some point, and then then the Bad Batch would have lost 2 members, and then eventually they'd have to fight both of them. I think that would have been more fun, honestly. But this was still great. I still liked that Wrecker's chip activated, and then he started fucking everyone up. Like, that was spooky. That got me legitimately worried that someone was gonna die. Yeah, but damn. This show is just, it's great. It's just, it's got me all kinds of fucked up. Like, I am so scared to see what happens to these poor, sweet clone boys. Yeah, there's just so much going on. I wanna, I can't wait to see it just all come together as the show progresses. It's just, the show is just so entertaining and interesting to watch. It's just got so much going on that you're just like interested to see what happens next. You're just like, well, what are they gonna do? Like, who's gonna show up in the next episode, right? Because they've had a lot of cameos in this show so far, and I'd like to see them save Crosshair at some point, because goddamn, it has been, he has literally been in like less than half of the episodes that have been released so far. So it's like, it's got me worried. I'd like to see this poor boy. Like, I don't know what they're doing with him. So that's all I have to say about episode 7 of Bad Batch. If you guys have any predictions, thoughts, and or feelings about this show, share all that good shit in the comments down below. So, thank you guys so much for watching and getting to the end of my video. If you would like to support me, I sell all kinds of art on these 4 sites right here if y'all are interested in buying. If you would like to follow me on other social media, I have an Instagram, a Twitter, and a Tumblr if y'all like to stay up to date on my shenanigans. So, if you like this video, why not hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button, and give that bell a ring if you would like to see more of my face every Wednesday when I post a new video. And don't forget to stay sparkly, my dudes!